What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the Biker Bar B1. Here we are today, episode number 39, I think. Holy shit. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a couple of weeks. We've been off. There has been, life gets in the way sometimes. And we had a couple weeks ago, we had one episode that was supposed to be with Sid and Mackie. Unfortunately, when you're living out of a van, the internet doesn't always agree when you're in the mountains of Colorado. And then the week after, I took the dumb pill that day, dude. I booked the trip for work, and I was not thinking about time zones whenever I did that. And I was actually going to be in the air whenever I was supposed to be on the air. So here we are after a 2-week vacation. I didn't even know I was getting a vacation. Got one, boom. So here we are, episode 39. Today we're going to be with Osprey. You guys may or may not be familiar with them. They're like the alternative to Camelback or whoever else it is that you're thinking about. We're going to get into that deep in a second. But first, let me talk to you about something. My Patreon. The Patreon is the only thing that is supporting this channel at this point. Honestly, I took all the ads off of my videos. I am only doing this by the support of you guys. And I'm trying to get to 250 patrons. Right now, I'm at like about half of that. And I want to see you guys get me and this channel to that place. So what I'm thinking is, like, when you go to the bar and you order a beer, that dude brings you a beer and you're like, oh, well, what's a normal tip for somebody to just bring you a beer? It's $1, right? So you listen to this channel, you listen to this podcast, hours of entertainment. And all I'm asking for is $1 a month. So join the Patreon, throw that buck out, and well, you get a little extra in return, like discounts for products that you would like to buy. A bunch of you guys have asked me for a long time, what knee pads, what elbow pads are you wearing? And I am wearing the Cali Strikes. I love the Cali Strikes. I will not fucking wear anything else other than the Cali Strikes because I enjoy them that much. Not because they gave me some free knee pads and elbow pads, but because they're that freaking comfortable. And if you join the Patreon for the $1 a month, you can get 25% off. So that's a pretty good deal. If you don't want to support my channel, but you want to support somebody else's business, this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now, minus the movies, you don't get the movies for buying the t-shirt. But if you buy the t-shirt, Full Send Alliance, they're at ridefsa.com. It's a local company out of here out in NorCal trying to come up. If you dig their stuff, go check it out, dude. Ridefsa.com. Good dude. So far, man, every time I've hung out with him, his motto before his company's called Full Send Alliance, but his motto when I've talked to him is ride bikes, eat tacos. So you can't go wrong there, right? Anyways, let's get on with this shit, right? So today we have Chris. He's the senior product manager from Osprey. For those of you guys that you may be thinking of it like Osprey, what is Osprey? Osprey backpacks. Let's just say it that way. So some of you guys will like get on board. And Chris, why don't you tell me a little about yourself and a little about the company, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, like I said, my name is Chris Horton. I'm a senior product manager at Osprey. And what that means is I take care of a couple of product categories, and bike being one of them, snow being the other one I spend a lot of time on. So I get to basically work, with my passions. I'm a skier and I'm a mountain biker and a former roadie as well.
Whoa, wait a minute. A former roadie?
I know.
Never mind. Show's over.
Yeah, exactly. we all have to have our gateway drug. And some of us, drink peppermint schnapps when we turn, 16, and that's your first liquor. We don't stay there. We evolve as people. But it allows me to basically stay in the worlds that I loved. I was a bike shop mechanic for a long time, so I would just nerd out on everything that would come through the media and come through the bike shows, and then to be able to start attending bike shows, and then to be able to start creating the product that goes to the shows. It's a pretty cool job, actually.
So where are you located in geographically?
Yeah, so Osprey Packs, like you said, it's a pack company. We're located in a little town called Cortez, Colorado. So most people don't know where that is. So you talk about what's around it. So we're 45 minutes west of Durango. an hour and a half south of Telluride, and an hour and a half east of Moab. So those 3 places are pretty fantastic, and we actually have some of the better riding in the state too, just right in town.
So how did this company get started?
Well, it's just over 40 years 40 years old. The company founder is still our head designer, and he was in Santa Cruz, and he was just kind of making his own stuff. So he made his own backpacks for backpacking. He made his own panniers to go do a European bike tour around Europe. He just was making his own custom gear for himself and then for some friends. And then that kind of took off into a business that went from custom packs and custom guitar cases and custom surf cases to one of the top backpack brands in the world. So we're one of we and Deuter are 2 probably the top technical backpacking packs in the world, Gregory as well. But we also get to do really good things in like bike and snow. We're not just in the hiking and the backpacking side as well. We've been, like I said, Mike's been creating panniers and on bike and hydration stuff for a long time. But really since early 2000s, we came out with our own reservoir and our own bike specific product, because everybody in the building was a mountain biker, and we wanted to make things for us. We wanted to make product that we could go use at Phil's World here in town. And so we decided to make our own, to create a mountain bike line within the brand.
So what was it that like started the company?
Mike was he just felt that he could make things better than what he could find out in shops or in the stores, and he could see improvements that could be made. So if you look at things that are very commonplace, like hip belt pockets, a breathable back panel that doesn't make you sweaty, like all of those things are things that Mike thought of a long time ago, and now they're norms. So he just knew he could do a better job, which is great, because all I have to do is think of problems, and then I can send off a design team, including Mike, to go solve them.
So how did you get introduced to the company?
Right place, right time. It's tough. I worked for a couple of bike shops. I worked for REI for a period of time, and I just wanted to see what was on the other side of the customer service and the sales portion. So I moved from California out back to Colorado. I was also missing Colorado, and they're based here. So I just took a job in customer service, which is answering the phones, and answering questions about the product, helping small dealers out, because I just wanted to see what was on the inside.
Where in California were you? Because a lot of people, that listen to this, they're nationwide or maybe global, and California is such a big state. It's crazy because I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania, and whenever my family comes to visit California, they're like, "Hey, I'm in San Diego. Do you want to come meet up for lunch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. Next time that I come to Florida, why don't you come meet up with me?"
No, I was in NorCal. Like I used to race in Davis in the Sacramento area. So I'm from the NorCal side.
So you're super familiar with where I'm at then.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I used to do the Wednesday night 12-hour Prairie City races there. But and I went to high school and college in the Midwest and Michigan, and grew up along the East Coast. I was a military kid. But same joke here. Like, so Cortez, where we're based in Southwest Colorado, when a friend calls and tells me, "Hey, I'm in Denver, come visit me," Denver's 7 hours away. Salt Lake City's 7 hours away. So we live in the middle of nowhere with the 4 corners: Utah, Arizona, Nevada. So same thing. It's like, "Hey, I'm in Denver, come stop by and see me." No. Let me jump on my private jet.
So when you lived here in NorCal, what was your favorite trail around this area?
What's going on, man?
Look at this good shit in the background. That's what you get when you have friends that like to drink beer, and the beer fridge is in the shot.
Well, it's part of the scene. It's all about context.
Right.
I used to ride up in Auburn quite a bit, up there in the Forest Hills area. It's just beautiful and flowy. And I had moved from the Front Range of Colorado, where it's just uphill techie, turn around, go downhill techie. So the Forest Hills area was just fun.
Yeah, no, the thing about that area is funny is like, as being somebody that lives in this area, rides in this area, obviously films in this area, whenever somebody comes to visit, I always am like, oh, dude, you got to come whenever the snow's melted. Like, we have to go to Tahoe. Like, I don't want somebody to come visit me to ride my local trails. And from time to time, that is not an option. Like right now, like let's just say somebody's like, hey, I'm coming right now, dude. All my favorite Tahoe trails are under snow. But when these people come to visit, dude, we have some fucking badass shit. But it's like, because it's like our local stuff, we just blow it off and we're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, you only got like 2,000 feet of elevation loss over 5 miles, but you know, it sucks. If you would have came a better time of year, we would have something better to give to you. But it's funny because like I don't necessarily recognize that from like, you know, the people that are in different parts of the country, and they're like, dude, I would punch my baby for that. You know?
Oh yeah, no, like the trails that we have here in Cortez are unbelievable, and I can go do them at lunch. And same thing, you know, obviously Downeyville and Mr. Toad's and the Flume Trail, all the famous things up north of you. But you know, we had Easter off every year at the shop that I worked at, and so that was the one day a year you and all your shop buddies had off, and so it was the only time you could all go ride together. And so we would roll up to Auburn, we would ride Forest Hills, and then we'd dip down in the river and we'd swim and grill. So, you know, that's that whole thing. When you have like a local ride and your local trails, it's something you just run up to and do something like that with all your buddies instead of making it a big event with a couple of friends.
So talk to me about this company, Osprey, dude. Why was it that, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, dude, you're a mountain biker, you're working in the industry, you want to get into that industry, but like, what was it that really drew you to the company?
Well, I had a lot of respect for them. You know, I've always had jobs, not most of them paying well, but I've always had jobs of things that companies I'm proud of or jobs I'm proud of. And they make the best product. And so it was just kind of that easy. It was just like, you want to go to the winner. It's like, do you want to go play for the Patriots or do you want to go play for, you know, the Raiders right now? You know, so one's a risk. You could have more of an effect, but the Patriots are winners.
Right. I don't know about the Patriots being winners, but I'm a Cowboys fan. We're not gonna get into NFL because even though
it's a biker show,
it does feel like it is freaking fall right now in Northern California, although it's not.
No, we're just really good at what we do. You know, the attention to detail, the design process that we have, the factories and the employees and the pattern makers and the whole team it's fantastic as far as what we can do. So it's like, more like I have the best tools in the tool shed.
Right. But in with bikes, you know what I mean? Like everybody's brand loyal, right? And I said it earlier, and I'm not trying to like make some fucking Oprah Winfrey kind of like montage right here, but like, you know, the first pack I bought was a Camelback, you know, and it lasted for a long time. And I don't have any like big complaints about that. So what would be the like compelling reason to decide to switch? You know, so you finally busted through that seam. You're like, you know, you're finally at that spot where you're ready to go to buy something else. Why not just pick up what you've been used to?
Well, I mean, we've been making backpacks for 40 years. So
how long?
For 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah. So we know how to do that.
Where the hell has your marketing team been for 40 years?
on the bike side, we've only been making them for, you know, almost 10 now or a little.
Okay. Now I get it. I was like, what the hell? How did that not even
exactly.
happen?
Exactly. So, you know, like we put a blind man up Everest, you know, so we know how to make back. We know how to
blind guy up Everest?
On one of our packs, yeah.
Dude, you have like you're just fucking like boom. Shut the fuck up, Robert.
but we know how to make packs, you know, so that's what we do really well.
Apparently.
So we've been doing that for so long. So the whole idea is that when you put it on, it's not about the water socket, you know, inside. It's about a whole system. You've got pockets that work well with what you're carrying because we think about what mountain bikers need to carry and how they're interacting with it. You know, we spent with this 2019, we did a whole bunch of new product, and actually the whole family, my 3-month-old daughter went over. We were in Vietnam where our design team is, and there's a New Zealander that's an actual former downhiller, a French guy, a Vietnam guy, and a U.S. guy. And so we all got to work on it together, and we thought about bike fit. So we know backpack fit really well, but we had the time and we have the knowledge to think about how does a person interact with a backpack while riding, because the whole idea is you don't want to ride with a backpack on your back. You want to forget it's there. So we work really hard at those things. We make it so it's there when you need it, but you don't think about it when you don't want to worry about it. So especially with all the bike frame suspensions that are out right now, it's harder to put a water bottle cage anywhere on it, or it's on the bottom of the down tube where it's catching all the cow shit in areas like where we live. Right. So it just makes a lot more sense, especially on technical trails. So and we have the ability to really nerd out. Like I said, we just get to nerd out and make it the best possible thing.
So are you guys noticing a trend that's going from like backpack to like hip pack?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
So is that like, is from a company perspective, is that like the way that people are going in sales, or is that like, oh, we're like promoting it this way, but it's just a little subset of people that are doing that?
No, it's a mix. I would say it's a contingent of people who never wanted to wear a backpack before. Whether they saw it as sweaty or heavy or cumbersome, it was a monkey on their back, so they were never going to wear it anyway. But they're okay with the lumbar because they need to carry all this stuff they want to carry on their ride on a frame that doesn't carry it very well. So they've moved to a lumbar because it's comfortable, it's ventilated, it's smaller, it's more minimalist. And then the people that are riding with packs are still riding with packs. Some of those will actually buy a lumbar and a pack. So it's great to have the small one for short rides after work, but it's great to have the larger one for the longer rides on the weekend. So
for me as a content creator, it's like I need a bigger bag that I can carry my drone. I can carry an extra camera, an extra gimbal, extra batteries. I'm a fat guy, so I need to drink like 200 ounces of water. And I also need snacks and lunch and chicken wings. Like all of that needs to be in my backpack. Yep. So like, but for me, I've also just recently, I got a hardtail, and because of getting a hardtail, I've been like kind of like minimalizing things. And
oh,
I'm like,
totally.
Okay, I want to be able to do like my after work ride on this hardtail, and I want like I'm starting to think about putting my tools like right on the bike and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that I'm like kind of like tripping off of is like, how do I carry the battery for like my night ride, like, but still ride? And I'm thinking that's where that hip pack comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, with the frame bags that are out there now, it's fantastic. Like we look at what's going on in that market, and we can't ignore it. But yeah, I mean, you look at a night ride or a simple ride where you could just throw the battery into the hip pack and then run the wire up to your helmet, and then you're on and off the bike. The hip pack's just been fantastic. I mean, really, we talked about it. We were down in the Southeast riding a lot in the Pisgah area. I don't know if you've been down in Brevard and Pisgah near Asheville.
I haven't been there yet, but I've definitely watched enough of Seth Bikehouse videos.
Oh man, I mean, it's beer and mountain biking, so you fit right in.
Oh, sweet. I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. But those guys have a creek crossing like every quarter of a mile, where like here we have to bring 3 liters of water for an all-day ride because there's no water. Right. So what those guys do is they just take bottles with filters and they just stop and grab water when they need it. So they don't need to carry a big pack, because they can stop and refill with water. Their car's never that far away. So everybody's got different rides, and so we saw that as an opportunity to kind of get people into a product when they normally would be trying to stuff that into jersey pockets or a frame bag, like you said.
So how do you guys go from being a backpack company that gets blind people to the top of Everest into a backpack company that like takes care of mountain bikers? I mean, is it just like hire a bunch of mountain bikers to hear what the fuck they're saying, or like how does that development process happen?
No, I mean, it's tough. I mean, honestly, sometimes the product side's the easiest. When you've got a bunch of people in-house that are super into mountain biking, when you had athletes that were into it and doing adventure racing, the product side is really just going through and finding a bunch of problems that people aren't solving, or finding a bunch of problems that people aren't realizing were there. Like we brought the magnet into a reservoir. So to be able to have a magnet where it attaches to your sternum, so you're just always grabbing it from there instead of it dripping down the side of your leg. we brought that in. We brought down like tool rolls, the ability to kind of store your tools and keep them in a place where they don't get in the way and they're easily organized. So it's about user interaction for us. So we were able to find a bunch of things that we could solve, a bunch of things that we could do.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have $1 million idea.
Yeah.
And just because I'm too lazy to actually make that happen, I'm gonna tell you guys my idea.
Nobody else listened to this.
Nobody has ever thought of this. Nobody has ever thought of this. But I used to always ride with a bottle full of like, not maybe Gatorade or some kind of sports drink that was like high in electrolytes or high in like some kind of like recovery kind of drink, something that would keep me from cramping. And I would always carry that in like either in my backpack as like just like an Nalgene kind of bottle or like as a water bottle. And I always thought, and I'm one of those guys that like never puts anything into my bladder that is not water because I don't want it to like taint the taste of my water later. You know what I mean? So like I had this idea of a backpack that had like 2 tubes and 2 like bladders. Like one bladder I could put shit in that's going to taint the bladder. And then the other bladder is the water one. And all it is like a valve that like switches between the two. Do you think I'm onto something or?
No, you're totally onto something. Like it's I've seen it presented to me. So obviously somebody else thinks this is a good idea too. It is exactly what you said. So you can have some normal water and some high electrolyte, or like you can have like,
but like
margarita.
You don't want to taint your water bladder though. You don't want that water bladder to taste like whatever the fuck it was that you drank like 3 weeks ago.
No.
You want like I can taint this other bladder. It's a small one. It doesn't need a big one,
Yeah, it almost needs to be somewhat replaceable when you taint it every like 6 months. Or when you leave it in the winter and it just rots out.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone skiing and left a banana in my pocket of my jacket. So I'm sure I would do the same thing with my backpack that I'm riding with.
No, this is really what my job is just like hearing random stuff all the time. I just keep like stickers and random stuff in my truck for like trailhead stops. And it's absolutely worth it. Because even when people recommend things, they're communicating something that they think they have a problem. A lot of times people try to solve it, like they always try to present a solution too. And that may be the right solution, but there may be a better one. There may be something we can adapt. So even the craziest person that walk into our booth at like a sea otter, you listen because there's something underneath that is a cool idea, like something that everybody else struggles with.
I've never met any crazy people through my YouTube channel. I swear.
I'm sure they never tell you what you should be doing instead of what.
No, never. They're like, oh, that would be awesome if the basis of your channel wasn't cussing and you didn't cuss anymore. That's weird. I'm sorry, but that's just kind of who I am. That's my shtick, and you're telling me not to do that. So
there's tools behind you and stickers all over your fridge. There's gonna be cussing.
So like honestly, like when you go to the store, like you say you used to work at REI, so you sold a bunch of different bags. Like when you walk into a store and today, I mean, you work for the company, and once you get that inside like idea of how the company works, it kind of changes your bias on how you look at things. So when you walk into a store today and you're looking at bags, what are the things that make your bag stand out compared to your competitors that you're like, oh, that's why I wouldn't buy a XYZ brand. I would buy ours because we're doing this. Like, what are those things that people can understand? Because like as a consumer, like it could be like, oh, well, we double stitch this. And as a consumer, we don't see that shit. We're just like, oh, I bought that bag. It fell apart. Like we don't understand why it fell apart, but you like being in the industry, you know that. So what do you see like that?
No, I mean, totally. We could dork out on fabric deniers and
let's do it, dude.
And all of those things. But really, for a consumer, when say you walk into a shop, mostly you have 2 things that you could win on. And one is pretty shallow. It's just aesthetics. That one looks cool. I want that one. It's within my price range. That one's objective. We think we make beautiful packs and beautiful colors, so we'll do our best there. But really, it's when you put it on. if you just put it on, you don't need to understand the stitching. You don't need to understand the bar tacks. You don't need to understand all the detailed patterns we put into it. You put it on, you're like, oh, this feels nice. And that's simply, if you're in a store, that's when you're going to see a difference for us. And then a lot of what you find out is afterwards when you're actually using it. And you're like, oh my God, this pocket's exactly where it's supposed to be. And this store is exactly what I need to store. Or cool, I don't have to use, I can actually access and zip this pocket while I'm pedaling. I don't need both my hands. So then it comes in these nice little surprises that actually make your ride better.
It's a little shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But in store, you put it on, and that's what that 40 years of experience does. We know exactly how to pattern and curve a harness. We know exactly how to fit and drape on the body. So those things, you just put a pack on and you'll see a difference.
So every bag company, as far as like us that are trying to get water, there's some things that kind of set them apart from each other. To me, in the bladder, there's two things. There's the nozzle on how you drink and how you open that up, and then there's also the venue for putting water into it, like with Camelback. And I apologize, I haven't owned one of your bags, so I'm gonna have to like compare that to what I know. When Camelback first came out, like their like opening to put water in, it was airtight or watertight, but like it was a motherfucker to open up, like a 3-stage motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like, it was like you started out, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. No, it sucks. Oh, wait a minute, I want to punch baby Jesus. Like that's the kind of the way that you went through it. And then you were like, oh, cool, it didn't leak all over me. I'm good with that. So like, how do you guys differentiate? Like, how does that opening work on yours?
Now, we learned a lesson that screw caps, no matter how easy they are on your like 22-ounce Coca-Cola bottle or Mountain Dew bottle, there's for some reason complicated the second you get bigger than a Nalgene. And so, yeah, we just had caps, threading. No. So we do a slider top. So instead of a screw top, you just see almost it's like a Ziploc bag that kind of seals together.
Oh, okay.
The plastic that slides across the top.
Because some people are listening, some people are watching. Yeah. But so basically, you're talking like a Ziploc bag that has one of those like plastic slider things that goes across the top.
Yeah, it's like a big plastic one that basically just seals that all in. So that way, it's easy. There's no cross threading and then realizing that you cross thread it now your bag is full of water.
So when you're filling it up, all you got to do is slide that open. Yep. Dump everything in there. You don't have to like bend it over and like put some other thing on or anything like that.
No, you just do a single flip open. And like, again, talking about like the details of Osprey, we just created a shape for that. So that if you have instead of having a really tall thing to try to fill water with this, we shape the top of it so you can fill it in shallow sinks, or you can pour it into a water bottle. So if you see the reservoir and you use it, you'll see like, oh yeah, like I get it. All they had to do is add this in this shape, and it makes it so I can fill it in a sink in a bathroom at a restaurant in Moab.
Or like in my stupid ass fridge that is opposite of everybody else's in the world.
Exactly. Right? So I mean, and then the material is like we have a lifetime guarantee on it. Like there's no end to it. You can run it over.
Wait a minute though. So if you have this like slidey thing on the top, then how does the bag stay to the top of your backpack without like slouching down when you're drinking water? Does it still have like a hook or something in it?
Yeah, there's still a hook, and we do two things too. We have one for our bigger packs. It actually has a big piece of plastic on the back of it.
Bigger? What is the most amount of water that people can get?
Like 2.5 liters with the bike packs. You can get a 3 liter that we sell for our backpacking stuff. But yeah, and you can house it, and then you can put more water on the inside. Again, we live in the desert. I mean, we're. Yeah,
I was gonna think. I was like, can you put a keg of water on my back?
Exactly.
Because I'm carrying a keg on my belly, so I need to like.
It gets hot and humid there,
right?
Its own way. Oh yeah. But no, I mean that's super easy. It's also easy to clean. You can get your hands in there. But we do like these twin baffles on the inside, so that the twin baffles actually keep it flat to the back. Again, we try to think about every stupid little thing. Water is the heaviest thing you're going to be carrying, so we want that all the way thin and close to your back. So you see that in our reservoirs, we make it so they're thin, close to the back, and then hang from that hook. And then even our lumbar pack has a special reservoir that keeps it actually wraps around the body, keeps the water thin. It's playing with all these tiny little systems that make the whole system work really well.
So what was it that actually got you guys to like think about lumbars? Because I'm 41, and in my mindset, fucking what do you call that shit?
Fanny packs.
A fanny pack? What? Fanny packs aren't cool, dude. That was like the 80s. How the fuck did you guys decide to get into you're like, hey, we're gonna take something that everybody fucking hates. We're gonna make everybody love it. How did you come about that?
Well, the best thing is, like, I'm 37, so like I actually have no association with lumbars. Like they were stupid to my generation forever, because by the time the 80s came around, we were smart enough to not do it. So
exactly.
I have never
language, brother.
I have never thought of lumbars as a good idea.
Don't do that shit anymore, right?
No, and it's probably my fault. We missed like 2 years of opportunity on this category. Because every bike show I would go to, every event I would go to Eurobike, and those guys are even kind of okay with lumbars, but like, and everybody's like, so when are you guys gonna do a lumbar? When are you guys gonna do a lumbar? And I was like, I don't know.
You need a lumbar and an e-bike. Come on.
Exactly. Stat. So I avoided it. I thought maybe it would be a bit of a trend because I'm of a generation that avoided it for 37 years. So I mean, what's another couple of years to avoid?
Right, but we can just like get through the fucking trend and not deal with this, right?
No. So then I finally used one, and I was like, oh, "This is kind of nice."
That's what I'm afraid of. That's really what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hate the idea of that, because like all I see is like this dorky ass guy with a fucking fanny pack, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be that guy. Because I already got a big belly, and I'm like fucking drinking too much beer, and now I'm gonna have a fanny pack too. It's like a triple whammy for me, dude. Well, if I was single, I would never get fucking laid as a mountain biker.
Well, as long as you don't wear it on the front, I mean, you should be all set. Like, and make sure you're not wearing socks with the sandals.
Right.
But, but the thing is I tried it and I liked it, but I also noticed, again, like there's a lot of things on forums about them and a lot of consistent complaints about fit. So we actually tried to launch it last year, and we postponed it because we weren't happy with it. Like it's a liter of water, a liter and a half of water, plus your bike tools and tube and stuff like that. It's a decent amount of weight without a harness. So we actually took 2 years on the fit design of it, and it took a whole lot of prototyping and testing. So
I'll tell you right now, dude, I have heard a lot of guys that wear those now that are actually my friends.
And they're not rollerblading.
Yeah, right. They're not rollerbladers. And it blew me away where they were telling me how much water they were carrying. Even with the guys that were wearing still the backpacks, but it like relocated the water all the way down to the lower back. Every one of them is like, dude, this is the way to do it, man. Mm-hmm. Like it is. Do you guys have the backs like the packs like that as well, where it's like it's still a full back pack, but it's like putting the bladder weight like way down low, like close to your love handles and stuff like that?
No, just the lumbar pack. We actually experimented with that, and I don't want to diss everybody or like
dude, throw it out, man.
But like we just found that
only the internet that's listening. Don't worry.
Exactly. It's only recorded forever. It's live.
Right.
No, we tested them both side by side. We tested ours, we tested theirs, we played with some of ours. We switched reservoirs around. So we did some fit testing that was pretty, holistic and platonic between the packs. And we just found that we didn't see the benefit.
Really?
It created some complexities in other places for us to design around and to try to bolster fit in one place. Like I said, what we do is we try to actually spread
the complexity is, because when you say that, like I'm like, oh, that sounds good, but instantly I'm like, I actually don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, you're just like, we just put all the weight in one place, and then now you've got a totally different structure to the pack. So now all of your weight's at the bottom, so you've got to put all of your lumbar and padding. You've got to somehow hold that weight up, pulling that through the back panel in a harness. But do you need it framed anymore? It's just a weird kind of suspension design to deal with. And so what we've by putting all the weight down there in one place, you create this weird thing. Like, it's like putting it's like a kid in a kid carrier. You know, it's like all of this weight in the place you don't want it to be. But if you can thin out the water and you can spread it across the entire pack, that's ideal, because then water is being spread everywhere. Everything is being evenly spread. So that's how we look at everything with pack fit. It's about even spread of the ventilation, even spread of the pressure on the back, even spread of the water. And like I said, and then when you try it on and you wear it, you don't feel like you have a pack on. It's not bouncing it and hitting the back of your head. It's not moving around. It doesn't feel like it's there. And so it's those things that we're really good at. And that's why we're open. Like we tried that. We were totally willing to change our whole philosophy on that. And we just didn't see the draw in trying to solve the problems it caused.
So talk to me about like the construction of the bladder itself. Like, is that something that's like kind of just an industry standard where it's like, oh yeah, everybody makes it this way out of these same materials so that it doesn't pop if you like wreck? Or like, do you guys have something that's different, or like the way that your seams are made that like in as a professional like makes you stand out? Like, or is it just like, oh yeah, bladder is a bladder?
Yeah, no. I mean, a bladder is a bladder in a sense that what you need it to do is not leak and give you water, you know. So it is a simple task that, you know, can be difficult at the same time. So we partner with it's a brand out actually out of Oakland, California, as I took a dig at the Raiders earlier, called HydroPack. So HydroPack,
you don't have to take it. It's not a dig when you're talking about the Raiders, because they
exactly. Yeah, they enjoy it. They like being the victims.
It's all right. Like I said earlier, I'm a Cowboys fan. Everybody loves to hate a Cowboys fan. Wait a minute. What team are you following?
I'm a Patriots fan. Everybody hates me, so it's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up one more time.
Yeah. It's
I expect have no validity in NFL talk. So let's get back to mountain bikes.
Exactly, back to mountain biking. But we work with these guys out of California called HydroPack. So they make reservoirs for us and a bunch of other brands as well, like Dakine. But we do some custom features like the way it pours, the handle that we have on it, the baffles that we have on it, the handle. So we do a bunch of custom features, but they do a really good job is that it's like molecularly bonded. So it's not just like putting some glue between two films, or like putting your iron between two films and calling that good. They're actually like molecularly bonded.
So molecular, dude, that means science.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're just like taping them over and just throwing a heat gun at it. You're actually bonding them at a level that's pretty insane. So what's cool for that is that all of our product for quite some time now is what we call like an almighty guarantee. There's no receipts, there's no ownership involved, there's no time frame that ends. If you have an issue with your pack, like you crash and you take a digger and it rips a hole in it, you ship it to us, we fix it for free, and then we ship it back to you. And there's no, like I said, there's no end date on that. You don't even have to be the first owner. You can get drunk at a campfire one night, fall in the fire. We can figure out what pack it was. We'll send you a new one. So it's a really cool program. But the way that these reservoirs are built is that we can actually match that.
Hang on. So if I buy an Osprey, no matter what, you'll replace it, or did I like hear that wrong?
Yeah, if you buy an Osprey pack, it comes with a lifetime like an almighty guarantee. So, like I said, if you have any issues, you're
like an owner. That's what you're saying. Like if you just like hit up Osprey, hey, I fucked this thing up, you're still going to replace it, or?
Yeah, you just need to be an owner of a pack. So you just if you have an issue, you send it to us. If we can repair it, we repair it. If we can't, we replace it.
Dude, that's actually pretty fucking stand up, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of the few programs left like that. We've got about 12 people that just sewing all day, every day, repairing packs for people. We have on the opposite side of the bike side, we have people that hike the AT. They live on a trail for 3 months out of their backpack. So they overnight it to us, they get it to us, we overnight it right back to them so they can get their house back. It's a really cool program.
That's actually really impressive. There's a few companies that I've like kind of aligned with, and not because they are like paying me or giving me product, but because I can like stand behind what they're saying, and that's pretty stand up, dude. I truly appreciate that, because like you buy a bike from Santa Cruz and you have let's just say it's a warranty on the frame, and but you only had it for 3 months and you sold it to somebody else. He doesn't get that anymore. So what you're telling me is you have a pack, no matter how you acquired it, it's fucked up. You guys are going to take care of it.
Yeah, totally. Which it holds us as
like
a design team accountable. Like we have to build bomber stuff.
Right. So like that has to come from like the top down.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean? Like, so why is it that the founder of the company feels that way?
Because I mean, that's what's nice about having the founder of your company being the product guy. You know, he's not the CFO, he's not the finance guy. He's looking at this as just burning money. Because that's what it is. It's burning money. You know, we can talk, it's definitely great marketing. It's definitely a great story and all those things, but it's, you know, it's burning money.
Yeah, no, dude, believe me. I one of those companies that I talked about that, or a second ago, that I was like referring to in my mind was Cali. Like they stand behind their fucking product.
Yeah, those guys are rad.
Like they stand behind it like no other company that I haven't been in the bike industry for a long time, but out of the companies that I've talked to, like those guys, like they really truly care about safety. They really truly are like 100% about giving a good product. They're at an event and they see somebody walk by with an old helmet and they're like, "Oh, dude, I remember we fixed that later. I actually don't want that guy to not be as safe as what we can with this new helmet." And they've just stopped these like random people and are like, "Hey, dude, give me your helmet. Here you go, brand new one." And like what you're telling me right now is like it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something like, again, we take a lot of pride in it, and for us, it holds us accountable because we can't make something cheap. I mean, and that's something. It's something like when you talk about, like, you walk in and you look at the stuff we make, it's super high quality. And I don't know how you would ever describe that. Like, how does a person know something's high quality? You know, you pick it up and it's heavy. Like, that's not going to work in our industry.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask you earlier. Is it like you guys do like 3 passes of the you know, the seam? Do you do like double heat molding? I don't know the industry, and that's what I'm trying to ask from you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like as a consumer, dude, that's who I am. I'm a consumer sitting on the other side of this microphone right now. And what you do, like, you understand that. You understand the difference between like using this glue compared to that glue for the bladder. And I don't. And neither do any of my followers. So like that's what I'm asking you is like, what sets you like apart that way, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's insane to think about, but like stitching is one of the oldest forms of attachment in the world.
So explain to me why that fucking means something, because you said that earlier and you were like, "Oh, I don't want to get into that." And I was like, "No, actually, I do, because I would like to understand when I'm walking into a store and I'm looking at a backpack and I'm like making a decision between one or the other. My first intuition is, oh, that one has the color on it that I like, or that one like just looks cool." But I want to be able to like come out of this podcast or this live stream and be able to be like, wait a minute, but that one has a stitch that goes, you know, like a Z all the way up. And that makes sense. You know what I mean? So what are you talking about?
Yeah. So something like I said, like needle and thread, man, like grandma can do that. Like grandma can fix your shirt right now with that. So, you know, what can we do with it that's different from grandma? Is pretty amazing. So if you look at our harnesses on our bike product right now, we looked at how it should fit a biker and how your shoulders move with you, and when you're going uphill, downhill, struggling, you're hot, whatever it is. And we realized that there's tension lines. So when you're wearing a pack, the 2 edges of the harness, those can create tension lines where your shoulders come in and the meat of your harness comes in. So what we did on our higher premium level packs, and even on our lower level packs, we make it soft, is we actually created a wing that cups your shoulder. So having foam that cups the shoulder right there, what that allows that is almost like a running vest. It's almost like a garment. You know, we're looking at this from like an anatomical fit, not just like your shoestring or your JanSport backpack that's just straight down.
Like how to spread that weight over a bigger area.
Exactly. And so, and also grip the body.
You're like backpacking side of like R&D than you are from like your mountain biking side of R&D.
Well, it is, because what it is if you look at our first generation, like bike packs, the ones that we made in like 2010, 2011, they were overly built. They were like stiff. They were made like a hiking pack and a backpacking pack. You know, they're uncomfortable on a bike. So it actually took us some years to unlearn some of those things and actually specifically learn bike fit. And that's where we do this really well, is because now we build around a biker. We don't build around a backpacker. We build it around a cycling position. We know what they're going through. They're bouncing around, going downhill. They're going uphill with weight on their back. I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of weight on a small pack with all of the tools in the water. So what we know how to do is we can form that harness so that anatomically fits to a body. So that it's a wing fitting over the harness that's specifically shaped in that way so that your shoulders can move forward as you move around. And so it stays extremely stable. Because again, most people don't want to wear it because they bought a Camelback years and years and years ago and said, man, I don't like riding with a backpack. So no, you don't like riding with that 1988 Camelback. Try a 2019 Osprey, and that'll change your mind because of, again, just
it's
how
tough for me, dude, because like for me, like those bags aren't cheap. It's like $100 or more for a good bag. And I'm not saying that every time I've bought a good bag that I wasn't happy with it. Yeah. But yeah, you ride that. Like, dude, I'm not gonna bullshit you. The Camelback that I'm riding right now, I've probably been riding with like 8-9 years, right? Yeah. And the only reason that I bought that one was because I like this is actually a pretty funny story, dude. I was like rolling down this single track trail, and whenever there's like a tree that like kind of like comes out and you just gotta like dip into your like frame to get through, I was doing that. So I'm coming through this trail, dip down, and apparently I'm a big guy. And when I dipped down, this tree was low enough that it pushed me and my bike down that I got stuck. It was enough to stop me. And because it was a downhill section, my front wheel was off the ground. And what it did was it like compressed my suspension so that my suspension was completely compressed that I couldn't get off my fucking bike. The front wheel was hanging off the ground and I was stuck in the middle of the trail, like with my hands on my handlebars. And I'd like had to yell to my buddy. I was like, dude, can you fucking like push me out? I'm like seriously stuck right now. So he pushed me out. And when he pushed me out, my Camelback ripped because I fucking ran into that tree apparently. I was. And so that's why I bought a new one. So, but since then, I mean, it's been 8 or 9 years. So it's like, what is the reason at this point that you would be like, hey, let me give up this bag that has been working? And maybe there's some things about it that I'm annoyed with. Like, for example, my Camelback, that's an old bag. I'm annoyed with the way that it opens. I've bought newer bags for like other biking instances where I'm like, oh, this one opens easy. Like, why would I want to just be like, you know what? This thing's not good enough, No,
totally. I mean, we don't need people to buy stuff just to have stuff. We don't need more stuff in the world. I mean, I go to trade shows and I wonder why we have so much of this, junk in some of those halls.
Yeah, so totally.
We don't need that. And that's why we have the repair.
But I mean, there's a defining reason, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, we're doing this better. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, this is not like at the point of like being trashed, so I should buy something new. You know what I mean? Like, because like some of us are cheap asses like me, where it's like, dude, I'm not buying something until that thing fucking breaks. But some of us are like, hey, well, if there's a better product and it's compelling to be better, then like, why would I do that? And in some cases, I've done that.
No, totally. I want people to buy a pack and have it for 10 years, to be honest with you, and not have to like cycle through. If you want to go through fashions of new packs, have at it. It makes my bonus bigger every year. I appreciate it. But like we're designing packs to make them last 10 years. So if you've got 8.5 in your Camelback and you've got another 1.5 years left in it, cool, enjoy it, man. But yeah, like you said, but we have, like, if you're looking for a reason to buy a new one, or if you're in a shop and you're not looking for a reason to buy a new one, but you're in a shop and they carry it, just put one on and check it out, because that's the thing, is because only one competitor was really in this field for so long. Say what you want about capitalism, but competition, breeds innovation. And so when there wasn't a bunch of competition, there's only so much innovation. And now that there's more people in the field, whether it's us, Camelback, Dakine, even Thule and Patagonia, when you have people coming at each other.
I love the fact that you said Thule, because I say Thule all the time and people are like, who's that? You mean Thule? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I used to say Thule, and then somewhere along the line, somebody was like Thule, and I was like, oh no, that sounds so much better. I actually don't know if that's the way that they want to say the name of their company, but I love the fact that you said that because I like saying Thule. It just sounds good. Sorry.
As a Midwesterner who went and started working for some bike shop in Oregon, like out of college, and was the dorkiest person on earth because you're from the Midwest.
Right.
What do you think I started calling it before somebody finally corrected me? It was probably the Thule rep. So.
I hope that like someday I get a chance to talk to Thule and they're like, actually, no, we're Thule. I'm like, God damn it.
No, I know. I actually know. I know some of the guys in Sweden, so I know I'm saying it right.
It's Thule? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Shut all these bitches up, man. We're good.
No, but we these guys come in. It's fun, man. Like, you get challenged and product gets better. Camelback's had to be better too. But we're the best is the way that I like to think about it. Like, we're the best at what we can do. So so to me, it's about improving the experience. So when you're thinking about it now, it's like, okay, do you have a pack? Is it carrying the modern gear? Everything's changed. Are you carrying the pump and the smaller pump and the things you need, a 27.5-inch tube, because you don't have anything on the bike frame anymore, or you are using frame bags and you just need some water? Because we make these things, like I said, we make $150 pack. We're making a $200 one that'll come out in a year or so. But
Jesus Christ, that's expensive.
No, I know. I just finished a $1,200 ski pack. But you look at the
what the fuck did you just say? $1,200 for a ski pack?
Yeah,
for a bag, dude.
Yeah, it might save you.
Tell me that thing gives you like at least a blowjob.
No, I should. That's squaw. Yeah.
How the fuck do you make a $1,200 ski pack? What is in that?
You just use all the Gucci stuff. It's fun.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
How do we get a $1,200 bike bag? I mean, all the roadies are waiting. They want to know.
I know. I'm just gonna make it out of carbon fiber fabric if we can find it. It'd probably be horrible, but it'll be expensive. They'll want it.
That's all.
But we have a $55 pack. It's killer. So anybody doing like a dirty Kanza that's got all the crap on their bike frame, like you've got your hardtail and you get a triangle bag in there, but having that reservoir with more water and having the sternum strap right there in front of you. I mean, having that access to water, again, it totally depends on what you're doing and what your personality is, but we can make the ride better. Like, that's what we do. That's what our packs can do, is we can make the ride better.
So earlier when I was talking to you, I was saying that like one of the differentiators, at least from my perspective, is like how you get water in it. And the other one that I said was how you get water out of it. Yeah. So you guys, I know just from like what I've seen in pictures, your like valve for like getting water out of it is different than how Camelback goes. What's different about that and why?
So the valve is actually, it's got a magnet that's positioned like on your chest, so like right over your heart. So if you've got a pacemaker, just be aware, we've got to probably figure something else out for you. But right over your heart, you've got a little magnet, and that just keeps it right there in a bivalve that's easy to use. It's got an on and off switch, so you don't leak it in your car when you shut the door on it. But having that access there, like I was doing a race down in northern New Mexico, and it was one of those. It was like, I don't race much anymore, but it's fun to go do it. And you can never get your hands off the handlebars for a long period of time to get a bottle. There's no like section of road. There's no flat spot. So it was constantly undulating or technical trail. But with a reservoir, you can drink. You can drink the whole time. So it's just easy access to the water because it's always right there. It's easy to find. It's not dripping down your leg. So again, like you end up drinking more water because of it too, and you end up having a better day. I did. We have a really great race here called 12 Hours in Mesa Verde. It's been going on for a really long time. Like Todd Wells did it with like his like friends. He was posting like hour 10 laps, and all of his friends were posting like hour 70 laps. Like they just don't even count it over 2 hours. And so it's a huge race, but I forgot my pack, and I was too lazy to run down to the office to grab a new one, and it sucked. Like it's about an hour and 30-minute lap for me, and it sucked. Like not having water, not having access to water, even being able to bend down and grab a water bottle in a race situation, or in just a faster race day situation.
So do you guys have a different way that like the valve works? Is it like you have to turn it on, turn it off, or like?
No, yeah. I mean, there's a turn on, turn off.
I know it looks different than the one that I'm used to riding with.
No, it's. I mean, what's different about it is it does have it on and off. You really only do that like when it's in the car, so it doesn't leak. But once you're out on a ride, just leave it on, and it's angled at a 45-degree angle, so that it's basically oriented right to your mouth, so it's easy to find and easy to put back. And then the magnet being situated there as well. So it's really just super. It's just intuitive. You're not trying to find it somewhere. You're not biting it or over chewing on it or anything like that. So it's just super intuitive because we've angled it the right angle. We've put the right size bite valve on it. We put it magnetically where people can intuitively find it. So it's those simple things again that just make it easier for everybody just to
So
use
is
it.
the magnetic you just put it up there, or does it like twist into it, or
No, they're just magnets. You don't have to fiddle with anything. You don't have to try to unlock it. It's just magic. I mean, magnets are magic. It's kind of fun.
no worries, dude. If you got the kid duty over there.
Can you hear the toddler?
It happens, man.
Let me go say hi to her.
Yeah, go for it, man. So this is the deal, guys. You guys are all sitting on the chat right now. It is not very easy for me to always to pay attention to what's going on. Is there anything that you guys want me to ask this gentleman to find out about why or why not you should buy a new pack? Go ahead and throw that up into the chat right now because I'd love to see it. Those of you guys that have thrown up a super chat, thank you very much. Those of you guys that are my friends that are in the garage pumping up my tire right now that can make a bunch of noise and fuck up my live stream. Thanks a lot, C-Lock. That's what we're doing. So let me know. So anybody out there, throw it up in the chat. Let me see what we should ask. Osprey. Oh, it tastes like poop, dude. Why does your finger taste like poop?
Weird.
For those of you guys that are listening, C-Lock just stuck its finger in my mouth, and it tastes like
finger near your mouth.
Tastes-
Put it in your mouth.
tastes like dog poop. That's weird. And peanut butter. Why does your finger taste like dog poop and peanut butter? Anyways, so a gear holder. Do you take bigger guys into account? Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. Give me something till he gets back. I'm stressing. I'm trying to burn some time here, and I'm doing it. Fucking light Leatherfoot.
In the face. Let's see. Moonlight's here.
So I honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I've been carrying the same bag for like almost 10 years. How do you know what poop tastes like? Jesus Christ. That's a different story. We'll talk about that later.
Kind of a stupid question.
Right?
You have to have eaten poop to
Right?
know what it tastes
I know, right? I don't even understand. So, anyways, so this is what I'm thinking. I've been riding the same bag for almost 10 years, but at this point, like there are some certain things in my bag that have been starting to wear out, like the oh yeah, if you want to get that awesome biker sweater that C-Lock's wearing in the background, go to shop.biker.com. You can pick one up, or you could just go ahead and support me by going to Patreon. Anyways,
I'm back, guys. Sorry.
Chris is back. Thank you very much, Chris. So we were trying to understand what would be the deciding factor of hang on. Actually, there was a couple of questions that actually were way more about what I was getting at. So what's the largest waist size that the hip pack goes to? Because I got a bunch of guys on my channel apparently, and want to wear your packs.
No, so we actually we make that up to I think about 47.5-inch waist to go around, and then if you're bigger than that, we'll actually custom make you extenders.
Oh, so you're like we do full on beer belly.
That's hell yeah, man, dude. We're like Sid and Mackie are athletes of ours, but we're not an athlete type company. We're an everyman company, you know. So like you just heard, I'm a dad that's 37. I'm way long past my racing overweight days with a kid. Like we're about having fun on bikes. That's basically what's important.
Sid and Mackie was supposed to be on the show like 2 weeks ago, but apparently if you're trying to have internet in the middle of the mountains of Colorado, it doesn't work out too well. So we rescheduled.
Yeah, they're great. I hope you get them on the show. They've been fun to work with for a long time now. Actually, they've been athletes of ours.
So talk to me, Chris, man. What kind of bike you riding, brother?
I'm on a Pivot Mach 5.5.
A Pivot. So
yeah,
you're in the 29er camp, huh?
No, this is a 27.5er.
What?
So this is like their 5.5.
I didn't even know they did that.
Oh yeah, it's fun, man. It's
100% 29er company.
No. It's like 2.6, like kind of fat tires. It's like I went from like being a little racer boy in my Lycra to like actually enjoying mountain biking. And so when I converted from my hardtail into this fun bike, because like I live close to Moab and like in Fruta and I have all this wonderful riding, so I needed a capable bike, and I love it. I love it. Big fan of the Yetis and big fan of the Ibis. Ibis and Yeti and Pivot are good friends of ours.
Right on, dude. So where did you say you were living nowadays?
So we're down in Cortez, Colorado, in Southwest Colorado, and what's rad about that is when I first moved here, I got this job. I've been with Osprey for 8.5 years. And so when I got this job, I was early 30s. I was single. I was poor, but I had a bunch of bikes. And I could decide on Friday at noon when I was eating lunch that I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go to Moab this weekend. And I would pack up after work, and I'd be in Moab before sunset. And then I could spend the whole weekend riding.
This guy, I think he's giving $100 super chat, but live. So
Nice.
those guys that are listening on the podcast or the watching it otherwise, I just got $100 super chat, but in cash. That's Ben fucking Franklin. So
Nice.
the rest of you guys, show the fuck up, right? Sorry. This is what happens when you do something live with your drunk friends in tow. But
no, man, you need that. I'd like in same with your pitch in the beginning, like without that stuff, you guys wouldn't be able to tell us all the stories.
No, it's what makes it happen, honestly. Like on one hand, it's like it's shitty, like being a YouTuber and like trying to like talk to people about, hey, support me or whatever, because everybody that's watching a YouTube channel, they're like, oh, this guy's like rolling in the money. Because all those people that are the camera guys or the Seth Bike hacks that are just getting the YouTube dump truck of $100 bills coming to their house, that's one thing. But to be at my level, it's a different story. So
Yeah, totally.
I appreciate the support from everybody except for the two motherfuckers that are in my garage right now. So wow.
It's only support.
It's only support.
It's only support.
You support me like a ball sack supports a tampon.
Well, those things happen sometimes.
For fuck's sake, get the fuck out of here. You guys are fired. Leave. So anyway, back to your product. What I was concerned or what I was thinking about was like, how does the valve that you guys use work differently than the one that I'm accustomed to from Camelback?
Not much at all. I mean, you bite down and suck. I mean, that's it. Bite down and suck. So
that's it.
Yeah, just keep it simple. I mean, it works a little bit different in how we close it off, and it works a little bit different in how we angle it off. But again, we are going to get water to you, and that's going to happen. It's in a molecularly bonded, sack. It's in a polyethylene tube that goes to a silicone nozzle that has an on-off switch that's angled the right way, that's attached to a magnet on your sternum that's always there for you. But in the end, it's basically we will provide you water easily, and that water won't leak if you crash or if you do something wrong. So we basically, the reservoir part is the simple part in that sense. It's not simple to make it so it's trustworthy. The HydroPack guys do a great job. It's not simple to make it useful. We do a great job at adding some features to that, but we make it so you can trust it. And so that's really what a reservoir needs to be, is you trust it. The rest of it is the pack and how you interact with that. So like whether you can unzip the hip belt pockets while you're riding with one hand and grab your goo or your trash or whatever it is, can you access is your pen, safe and protected in the back panel in the backpack?
How is the bag like? Can you explain to me like how the bag doesn't fucking break when I like eat shit on it? Like, what is that made out of?
Yeah, most of them are made out of nylon. So it's really rare that we make them out of poly or polyester. But most of them are made like a 210 nylon. And 210 is like it's the weight. So if you take a yarn That and you look at what the weight of that yarn is before you start weaving them all through. The higher that number, the more it weighs, the more durable it is. The lower the number, the lighter it is, but the less durable it is. So you'll have like crazy stuff that's made out of 1000D. You'll have ultra lightweight stuff made out of 40D. So we toe that line between weight, so you're not carrying something that's too heavy, and then something that's durable that can last our guarantee. So we don't want you to feel like the pack is on there. So we use like a 210D, which is this perfect place for it can be durable, but it's lightweight. But then some of the other ones, like we have different packs in the line, like our $150 pack. That's for the person who rides often, knows how to break a chain, prepares for their ride with all the things that you talked about bringing. So that's kind of like your prepper and your experience guy. That's why they need the bigger pack and the better pack in the line. Then you go to like the lighter weight ventilated pack that we have in a line. That's your priority, is ventilation, and it stores the necessities. But we have this great little pack at like $100, and the entire pack is made out of fabric. There's no mesh. It's the Siskin Salida. So it's basically, you can attach a full face helmet to it. It's all fabric. It's using a heavier. So that's using like a 500D fabric. So it's heavier weight. And so that means that's the one where you can get better at the technical sections. You can crash more often. If you're thinking about running up, like we were up at North Star riding the lifts last year with Interbike. Jesus Christ, that's fun. I mean, you don't have to pedal uphill and you just get to hit the jumps and the stuff all day. Like, where the hell was that when I first started mountain biking? Like you hardly sweat. That's a blast. And so you're going to crash. You're going to take some diggers. And so we put in those packs that we know we want a heavier weight fabric. We put a heavier weight fabric in to take those diggers and last long.
Right. I totally get what you're saying there. So like, do you, I'm sorry. I just totally lost my train of thought.
Another beer.
I was just going to say, right. Exactly.
When does this turn into drunken history? I thought that's
exactly. That's what I was. So when, with that like bladder technology, like is there something that's different from the material that you're using compared to somebody else, or?
Yeah, I mean the polyethylene that we use versus a polyethylene that could be used versus should have just lost my other science word. Polyethylene, poly, all the poly. Anyway, there's one that stretches and one that's static. So imagine one that doesn't stretch. It's like a piece of plywood versus like a cotton shirt, which stretches. Ours stretches. So that's where you can take it, you can crash on that thing, and it just kind of stretches out. And you see commercials and you see videos on Hydropac's page where they're just running them over with a car. So you add a material that stretches and then it's molecularly bonded. It can't break. It's insane. Like it can't. I mean, it's the pressure it takes to blow that up. That reservoir is three or four times the size of itself when that happens. So highly, highly durable. And again, most people just want to trust the reservoir. They want to make sure it's not going to leak on them, so they're all wet. They want to make sure it doesn't leak because then they don't have water. And they want to make sure that they can get the water. And we make sure that happens with, again, the best film that you can buy, bonded the best and strongest way that you can, and then using the tricks and techniques of just intuitive intuitive use for the bite valve.
Right. And then, so how do you know that the difference between hey, this material is on my shoulder strap, so I'm not going to sweat through that or whatever. What's the thought process that goes into that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, it's again, that'll vary as well. For ventilation, we take foam and we die cut foam into the harness so that you can get air moving through that. And we just cover that through a mesh. We actually cut ridges, like a stegosaurus back on the back of the pack. So that creates foam that's ridged. Then that lets air channels go out. And we're really purposeful about where air is coming in when you're mountain biking and where hot air needs to escape. So all the ventilation is actually really visible. One of the packs in the line, they're called the Synchro and the Silva. We make men's and women's of everything to men's and women's specific fit. The Synchro and the Silva, those actually have a tension mesh back panel like a trampoline. So imagine like a trampoline frame, like a metal frame, and then the mesh in the middle. That where we live in the hot climates where we're at, it's just extremely ventilated. So you have all this airflow coming in. You don't sweat as much, and you don't have to drink as much of that water.
So people were asking, like, why is it that you have to clean the bladder?
Here's the trick. If you only put water in it, here's the other trick. When you first get these bladders, they're coming from like a Q&A inspection. You got to rip them open, and they've been vacuum sealed, and then you got to wash them. So please God, wash the china, in the boat that it rode on away. But after that, if you just use water, you don't have to clean it. You just keep the water fresh and recycling it. If you want to, you can throw it in the freezer. But if you only use water and you keep that environment sealed, you're going to be fine. It's when you start introducing sugar, that's when you have issues. So the second you decide to take that pack to a festival and put margarita in it, that's a great idea. But you're going to probably want to buy another reservoir afterwards, or at least do a really good job of cleaning the tequila smell out of it.
So it was what I was talking about earlier when I was saying you want to have that
the secondary one.
That secondary one. So what is the way that you guys recommend to actually clean that to get rid of?
So we have you can use cleaning tablets. We've actually got some on our site, and you can see some what are they called? They're called Bottle Bright. But they're cleaning tablets, and they're not made of chlorine. They're actually they're made of something you can almost eat them. But don't do it. It's going to taste horrible. It's like, what we did in school with Alka-Seltzers. But no, I basically just light dish soap. And then if you've got something pretty nasty, then I'd use the bottle cleaning tablets. You can use denture cleaning tablets. Those work really well too.
I've heard people say that you can just freeze them and then it kills everything. Is that true?
It won't kill it. It'll just make them go to sleep. But that's what I'm saying. If you're just using water and you put that in the freezer, you're never going to have to worry about anything. You don't have to clean it if you're just using water. Mostly what I do is
always only use water. And I'm like one of those people that when I was in the military, dude, we would put like water in our canteens, and then we'd go to the field, and maybe it would be 6 months until we went to the field again. And I would just drink that water, and people would be like, why the fuck did you do that? That's disgusting. And I'd be like, dude, it's just water. There's nothing in, as long as you haven't put anything else in there to like fuck up the chemistry of what's going on in there.
Exactly. Good. That's what I mean. It's like, as long as you don't make a garden, you're good. I mean, water is water. Water doesn't create gross.
Right.
You have to put gross in there.
Exactly. So like, for some reason, people think that I'm fucked up for thinking that way, but I'm like, hey, just don't put any gross in there and you're good.
But
so you put 100% from Osprey. So if you guys get botulism, it's not my fucking problem.
No, and I've done the testing. I actually did a margarita thing where I made margarita mix, took it to a festival because we have festivals every weekend in Telluride, drank half of it, and then left it in the sun for a couple of days, and then just cleaned it, and it was fine. You have a little bit of the tequila smell for a little bit longer.
I feel like if there's a little bit of something that grew in there, and you drank it and you were okay with it, then you're like improving your system, right?
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man. I got superpowers, just not quite to the same level. So my responsibility is a lot less as well.
Exactly. So what is the largest bladder that you guys offer in terms of mountain biking?
So mountain biking, we have like a 2.5 liter reservoir that comes with almost all of the packs except a really small lightweight one. We have a 3-liter version that you could upgrade to that we sell with our backpacking packs, but 2.5 liters of water is generally about the right amount. We've found for a typical ride, getting up to even like, you're not doing like an 8-hour epic, then you're going to need more than that. But that way you're not carrying weight. This water is so heavy. It's the heaviest thing you're carrying.
What is it, like 8.5 pounds a gallon or something like that? What is a liter compared to a gallon? I have to look that up.
So I was just wondering that too. I should know this. This is one of those like product manager should know things.
Jesus Christ, man, get your shit together, dude.
But here's the trick. Here's the trick from the product manager. You don't drink 2.5 liters in every one of your rides. So if you're only going to do an 1.5-hour ride, only put 1 liter of water in there. Why carry around 1.5 liters of water weight for a ride you're not going to drink from? I do it because I know I'm not going to refill my reservoir before I ride again.
Holy shit. 1 gallon is 3.78 liters. Jeez. So how many liters did you say you had?
2.5.
2.5. We need to change this. Hang on. We got to see what 2.5 is. 2.5, according to Google, is about 0.66 of a gallon. Okay. I drink all of that. But There
Yep.
should be like a handicap that you guys get for how much alcohol I drank the night before. So
Yeah, exactly. You put us in the handicap by starting there, and that's where you have like soft flasks and things that you can add to that as well.
So do you guys have something like earlier you were talking about guys that like purify their water because where they ride there's lots of grease. Do you guys have anything that's like part of or built into the pack to purify?
No, we've been looking with partnering with some people like on that you know, like there's a couple of really good filtration brands out there that have approached us, and you know, we would think that basically it's inline filter so that you could just put dirty water into your reservoir or your bottle and you just drink.
Why can't I just like fill my bladder up with some fucking creek water? You have the filter there. I don't have to fucking worry about it. Even if I have to buy a new one, that would be cool, dude.
Yeah. No, we're looking at that. Like you can get some inline filters now, but they're kind of big, so we just want to get them a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter weight.
Yeah, right on, dude.
Yeah, but that's a good idea. Look at this, two ideas.
See, dude, I'm telling you, dude. I honestly should just be part of your R&D team. I also want a filter that changes water into beer. Can you do that?
Yeah, it'll be called the I mean, Jesus turned it into wine, so this would probably be more of a devil filter, I guess.
So we just call it the biker filter. It's good.
Yeah. the devil's touch.
So like when you get to the end of the ride, instead of having to open up cold beers, all you do is like slap your new filter on and you got the beer filter. You're good. The beer filter is also the way that I've came up with every relationship that I've ever been in.
How you see it, or how you get through it, or how they see it and get through it.
Hey, come on now, dude. Seriously, stop asking all these serious questions. I'm just trying to make something fun.
Turning the couch around.
So on the flip side, also on the flip side, I'm just trying to like
transitioning.
I'm transitioning into a road biker. No, I'm not.
Don't do that.
So outside of that, of the like actual packs that you ride with, do you guys have a pack that is like a bag, like a gear bag? You guys have something like that?
Totally. It's actually literally called that, the gear kits. Like we have a smaller one that's like perfect for like, you know, just going to a trailhead, which is whoops. It's basically a
house there, dude. Look at your ceilings; those are awesome. For those guys that are listening, this guy's got some badass ceilings. They're like vaulted with wood, nothing but wood everywhere. This is definitely Colorado, dude. I'm thinking I'm going to sell my fucking bullshit house here in California and move to Colorado, because judging by your architecture, dude, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, might have lost him. We're going to wait until his internet gets straightened out. In the meantime, oh wait, I even forgot that I was listening to people on YouTube. Who the fuck are the people on YouTube? Hey YouTube, why don't you guys throw me some new questions that I need to talk about, because otherwise I'm gonna roll up here and kind of scroll through, see what you guys have been chatting about for the last hour. Everybody wants to know what poop tastes like. That's interesting. What did I get tagged on this one? Falling in a campfire sounds like something straight out of biker camp. Yeah, that's definitely biker. That's awesome. Oh, $9.99 from Sparks. What's up, brother? Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it immensely. This is what's going to get me to the Yaman Jamaica fucking ride later on this year. Oh, dude, he lost. I just watched him drop out of this stream. You know what? Right now he's stressing. As a guy that was part of a podcast for his company to just fall out, he's probably fucking sweating bullets. I'm gonna swing up here. Brian T threw the beer fund up for fucking $5. Where's the rest of you super chatting motherfuckers? Seriously, we're trying to run a business over here, and all I'm doing is just running my mouth, talking about this, talking about that. Anybody wants to throw up a Yaman super chat right now, you're gonna get your name up in the corner for the rest of the super chat. So if you guys aren't familiar with Yaman, what Yaman is the people that love this channel, that support this channel. They throw out a little bit of love, and that little bit of love adds up, and eventually it's going to work out to me going to Jamaica and finally riding mountain bikes in Jamaica. So if you guys want to see me ride in Jamaica, throw up the Yamon super chat. So any super chat you throw up with the hashtag Yamon, YAMON, I'll throw it up in the corner. It'll stay up there until the next guy that throws up a bigger one. And then the next super chat in the next live stream, it'll stay there until that guy at least throws up one. And even let's say their super chat was for like $50, and now it's a new live stream and yours is $1. You get to be up there in the corner. So threw a little bit of time up near, got Osprey back on with his internet problems. Hey man.
I was trying to be all sly. My laptop was dying, so I went out to get the cord.
That's good, dude.
I was 30 seconds.
Dude, I have been through enough fucking problems on this podcast to understand shit happens. Let me tell you, dude. One night I was doing this podcast. There was a thunderstorm going on in Sacramento. My power went out. I was like freaking out, probably about the way that you were a minute ago when you realized that you like dropped offline. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like doing a podcast live and I just have no power. Like I started it back up with my phone. It came back. It doesn't matter, man. At the end of the day, we're here to talk about bikes. We're here to have a good time. So no harm, no foul, man. So let me ask you right now, dude, regardless of the bike that you ride and the football team that you're in with, where is the place that you would love to ride the most in the next year?
Oh man.
Like if there was like no bars, whole, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing is I get to do, like, there is no bars. Everybody can go ride wherever they want. They should go ride. So it's more of a question of where should I go ride next year? Like,
but I mean, like, there is. Wait a minute. Like we have like families. We have like bills.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like, oh, well, I could ride New Zealand tomorrow. You know what I mean? So like, spot, dude.
You know what? I really want to get to Scotland. That's what I think. I want to go ride Scotland. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in South America I want to get to, and some stuff in the Alps, but I feel like there's just something cool about going and like to Scotland and
I'll tell you what, there is a YouTuber that rides up there. God damn it. I feel like an asshat right now for
I can't remember it.
Not remembering the name is like, oh shit. Somebody in chat hook me up right now. It's like oh fuck. What is the guy? He's like in Scotland, UK kind of area, and everything that he does, everything, like, it doesn't matter how well or bad he rides. Thank you. Somebody, Mick Trail Rider. This guy, like, everything that he rides, like, is these epic views.
Yeah,
like,
it's gorgeous.
How do you not want to fucking ride there?
No, yeah. No,
they have some kind of laws. They have a law there that's called right to roam. So there's no such thing as like trail advocacy there. It's like they have a law that's called right to roam. So it just means like you're allowed to ride wherever the fuck you want, and that's what it does.
And that's why there's so much cooler access to a lot of things in Europe. That's why e-bikes work in Europe, to be honest, because it's all private property, and people are like, yeah, go ahead, go for it, man. Just do whatever you want to do.
Like, dude, we've been fighting over this shit for a couple hundred years. We don't give a fuck.
It's because they don't sue each other. They don't get the liability crap going on.
Dude, you're trying to rope me into some political shit.
Oh my god, over open. You want to? Yeah, it's like Canada's better because they can go up in Whistler. They can build those things in Whistler that we like can't build down here or don't trust each other.
Exactly. Oh my god, you're trying to fucking walk me down a corridor of problems.
I love that topic, man. I love that topic. I mean, just go to Europe one day and just do like a touristy thing, like go see a chapel, and you'll walk up a pair of stairs. You're like, this is the sketchiest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. Like, they wouldn't allow this. They wouldn't allow these stairs in America. Over there in Europe, they're just like, yeah, whatever. You fall, your fault.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah. I used to live in Germany, dude, and the way that the German police are called Polizei. So like the way that they like fix problems at a bar was they walked in, threw tear gas, beat everybody up, and then asked questions later. In America, it doesn't play out that way. They're like, What is?
But it's fun. I mean, it's fun seeing that though. Like we've got like here in town, and you know, you see like the snow levels are causing some things for some of the resorts, but some of the stuff that like Telluride's going to build, and like Purgatory, which is a small resort near Durango, like some of the like the built trails that you see coming out of that, like from like fun stuff, like big jumps, big cool things that some lawyer somewhere found the loophole, you know, of what I can sign and then go do fun things.
So earlier you told me that you were a pivot guy, and that I thought you were a 29er, and you said 27.5, which is interesting to me. For those of you guys listening, my buddy is just trying to make love with my ear in the background there. So
he's got a wandering eye. I feel like that's necessary for context.
Little crazy eye. Anyways, so you had mentioned that you ride 27.5, and I gave you a bunch of shit about it, but oddly enough, I'm also a 27.5 guy. So I want to know why you like 27.5 over 29er.
Well, I've got all the wheels in the garage. Like I've got a niner. Yeah, I've got a niner hardtail in the garage. I've actually got an old 6er hardtail in the garage, and then the 27.5 pivot. It's just that.
You know, when you first said that, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then as you explained it, I was like, actually, no, I have the same thing.
Yeah, I totally do. But because of that, I know the difference between all of them. There's this section that we have this really great flow tracks where we live. And there's sections of that flow track that when I do that on my niner hardtail, like I'm really raking out the bike because the bike is so long. You can actually feel those turning differences. But there's something about that 27.5 with those 2.6-inch tires. And I'm basically just riding a motorcycle. I'm like making noises in my head when I run over rocks. I'm like, boom, boom, rap, 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 boom. Like that's what's fun about the 27.5 to me is that
I think it's like that. The 27.5 is flickable.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the things that you like about 26, but then that rollover of the 29. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's like that perfect like middle spot. But I'll tell you, man, I was a 29er hater all up until about a month ago or 2, 3, 4. I'm a guy, so like my
sense of time is
my observation of time is fucked up. I just realized, no, I got that 29er in like December, so it's been like 6 months. But like, I'll tell you, man, like I was a 29er hater, but the way that the new geometry is, they've really dialed this shit in, man.
Oh, totally. I mean, you're seeing them on downhill bikes. I mean, they have to figure that out. I mean, so it makes sense, and that's what's cool about owning multiple bikes is that I can have that niner hardtail and I can have that 27.5 fatty 6-inch travel bike. So,
I'll tell you what, dude, I would have never told somebody to get a hardtail in the last 5 years, and since I bought this hardtail, I will now. I'm like the guy that has the $10,000 fucking carbon bike that is sitting collecting dust because I'm riding a $1,500 hardtail that is just like it's consuming me.
Well, it's a backlash to the early adopt kind of mentality that we have in the industry. Like, it's new axle sizes, new wheel sizes, new tire sizes, and it's fun. And we find out cool new things. And a lot of times they are improvements. But man, there's just something nice about having a steel or aluminum hardtail bike that isn't going to age, isn't going to like get made fun of on a trail because it's just kind of classic at this point anyway. And for me, you don't have to worry about turning them over.
For me, it's the challenge. It's like, for me, the thing that has been so much fun about that bike is like, here is like trail 1, 2, 3 that I've always thought was challenging. And now I'm on a hardtail thinking to myself, I would have always told everybody 1, 2, 3 trail you can't do unless you're on full suspension. And now I'm riding with a hardtail and I'm like, I'm actually like hitting PRs.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
And it's like, dude, holy shit, dude. Like, honestly, those of you guys that follow my live streams outside of the podcast, like there's a little thing that I'm trying to do, like, can a fat guy KOM? And I am within like seconds of being in the top 10 of a KOM on a hardtail on a section that I would have always thought you needed to be on a full suspension. And then on top of that, I'm also doing it at night, so it's like, dude, hardtails have that section. I never hit those speeds until I did it with the hardtail. And I honestly think it's because like with the hardtail, when you get out of the saddle and that like those flat spots, you're just laying down power, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what's nice about some of the single speed setups, but those are weird. I started because I was a stupid roadie. So of course I started with hardtail. Like the first time I ever rode Porcupine Rim or Mr. Toads was on a hardtail. And so that
so most of my guys are from Northern California. For those of you guys that aren't from Northern California, Mr. Toads is probably one of the like, I won't say that it's the like most technical trail in our area.
It's just a giant rock garden.
Right. But as far as throw a bunch of trails into the mix, it's a trail that most people think is like, this is one of the most technical trails. Would you agree with?
No, yeah, it's like it's the one where I put pro, like I would put knee and shin stuff on. Like you stop,
right.
Stop and you put it on.
To us that live here, we're like, oh well, it's not that bad. There's like in my head, honestly, like as a local, I'm like, oh, there's like 2 spots that are really technical, and then outside of that, it's not that bad. Aside from the fucking shit show of a climb to get up there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
If you were like flying to Tahoe from somewhere else, you would be like, holy shit, that trail was intense.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give you guys like the perspective of like a local.
Well, what's crazy about that trail from a local perspective is it's a giant rock garden. So that when I was riding it on a hardtail, I was up that this guy came in front of us. So we were suiting up and he was on a full rigid setup.
Let me cut you off just for a second for the people that aren't from Northern California. If you ride Mr. Toes on a hardtail, you have a little bit of a fucking mental problem. So I'm going to throw that out there. Just like I am actually contemplating how I want to ride this on hardtail, but I also have a mental problem. So just know that, guys, the trail that we're talking about is extremely fucked up, especially on a full suspension bike. And we're talking about doing it on a hardtail. Okay, go ahead.
So I watched this guy do it on a full rigid. So like you're placing,
dude.
Yeah.
Do you get dick punched on like a Tuesday night?
I didn't do it. I'm not that stupid. I was stupid enough already. So this guy's on a full rigid doing Mr. Toes, and I was watching it. I was like, wow, he's really good at mountain biking. And then my buddy on a full suspension bike went and hammered down it and had a bunch of fun. So that's where you kind of shift and find those places where you get a skill set out of the hardtail, but there's a place where you should be on a full suspension bike, and it's all about fun. And if you're having fun finding new lines and getting new technical things out of a hardtail, that's awesome. Like that, I kept the hardtails because I still need it too. Sometimes I don't want all that suspension. Sometimes I don't want all that going on. I just want something simple. Like I used to race for GT a long time ago, back when 26ers were the only thing available. So I have this carbon 26-inch GT bike in the garage. It's got a rigid fork. So it's a 27.5 front wheel because it fits within the rigid. And then a 26-inch rear. And it weighs 19 pounds. It's stupid. It's basically a BMX bike. But I love it on an easy local trail that we have because it feels like I'm on almost like a BMX trail bike. I'm just kind of ripping around and having fun with it. So that's what's fun about a hardtail. There's something light and simple underneath that you can just kind of whip around and rip around on trails.
So you said you're 37. You're pretty close to my age. How did you get into mountain biking, dude?
I mean, I didn't get into it until I was in my mid-20s. This is even worse. I was a triathlete in college because that's what some friends did. Go ahead and make fun of me all you want because I deserve it. But it was something to do, and I realized that running is fucking horrible. Like it's just horrible, and so I just didn't want to do that anymore. And I realized I loved the bike portion. So I was doing some bike racing on road, and then I moved to Denver, and I was a mechanic for a 24 Hours of Moab team when that race was still going on. And so I was mechanicking for the team, and the whole time I was sitting behind the table working on their bikes. I was like, this is bullshit. I should be out there. Like, I want a mountain bike. I don't know what mountain biking is entirely. I know how to fix them, but I decided then and there that I was going to mountain bike. So I bought a used mountain bike that was a bit too small and took a bunch of endos and learning how to ride out in Denver. But it's so much fun. It's all those things that you have as a kid when you first get on a bike. All those feelings come back. It's exactly why you should mountain bike.
So I'm gonna ask you right now: are you like a Cushcore guy? Are you a tire suspension guy? Or are you a purist?
What do you mean? What was the first one?
Like Cushcore? Are you on the Cushcore camp, or are you a purist? Like just ride it like we always did with.
I'm in the Kishcore camp.
Why? Tell me why.
Because
I'm gonna go. I asked you to tell me why, but then I'm gonna tell you my.
I guess what it is I'm pro-choice. Like if we want to get on the e-mountain bike thing, I'm pro-choice. Like I think about what I think about is that I can do all this stuff on a fully rigid single speed and have a great time. But I've been doing this a long time and I've enjoyed it.
This is the thing that I'm gonna say. I always am definitely like I'm a person that's gonna like speak for the experience that I had. Mm-hmm. And coming into like Cushcore from like the outside, like no like free product or anything like that, is like, oh dude, it's gonna save my rims. Okay, that's cool. But once I met with them and I realized like they explained to me like this is like a suspension product, I was like, oh okay, yeah, you're fucking marketing me, whatever. And then I put Cushcore on my 29er hardtail, and holy shit, like it changed it. And it didn't change it like I'm saving my rims. I didn't get to the bottom of the trail and be like, oh wow, my rims are much better than they were when I started. No, it was like I got to the bottom of the trail and was like, my back is not fucking killing me. Oh, no. I fucking rolled through that rock garden and it felt good. Like I am telling you, even within like all of my YouTuber like friends that I chat with, they consistently are like, oh yeah, well, you know, I have like I have the Santa Cruz reserve wheels, so I don't need Cushcore. And I'm like, just because you have like a return policy doesn't mean that like you're getting the added benefits. And for me, honestly, I drank the Kool-Aid and I've felt the Kool-Aid. And everybody that thinks about Cushcore as a like just save your rims fucking like idea, you're wrong. Like seriously, if you have a hardtail and you ride Cushcore, you will feel it where you're like, oh my God, it's a game changer. Are you on board with me, or am I like?
I'm on board. I haven't tried it yet. I want to put it. I have that. Like I said, I have that rigid, and I've been wanting to put them in there because they like what you said is it's a little bit more than just that. Like I don't want to put a suspension seat post maybe on there. If I can get away with adding these and not having a suspension seat post on it.
Wait a minute. Nice. You mean you don't have a dropper on your rigid?
I know exactly. Yeah.
No, wait a minute. You actually just crossed the line of like sensible mountain biker to me to this guy's got a fucking problem. Because if you don't have a dropper on a hardtail, I think that you like the dick punches instead of the new.
No, I need to switch it over for sure. Basically, that bike is what's left over of my other bikes.
I'm telling you, dude, get a dropper first. But after you get a dropper, I'm serious. It will change your game on the Cushcore. I can't speak for the other companies that are doing the same thing. I don't know if they're only doing their thing for like tire protection, but I can tell you without a doubt, when I rode my hardtail with Cushcore, it changed my ride from a suspension standpoint, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, dude, I know you got the baby over there. I can hear it crackling in the background. I really appreciate the time that you've taken with me. Talk to me one last minute here about Osprey and like what stands out from you. Like, dude, you've worked for this company. You've been there for a while. Like, now that you've been there for a while, like, what is it that makes you walk into a store, or like if your buddy's like, hey, I'm buying XYZ bag, like what would you tell them to be like, no, buy ours, this is why?
Yeah, I mean, simply like buy a bag. Like it's not something that like I'm just advocating hydration packs in general here. Like buy a pack. It makes it so much easier to carry the water you need and drink the water you need. Carry the gear that you need to carry. You need a tube. You need a tool set. You need food. You need an extra layer. You need to carry these things and just keep it simple. Like simplify your life and carry a pack. And then buy an Osprey because you're going to forget you're wearing it because it fits so well. And everything's going to be so well organized and so intuitive to use. It's just a better product. I mean, you don't want to worry about it while you're riding. You just want to have fun. You want to ride your bike, and that's basically what we're enabling.
Right on, Chris. Hey man, I really appreciate you taking the time. It was good bumping into you over there at Sea Otter and setting this up. Let's definitely do something else in the future. Maybe we'll
sure.
maybe we'll do something fun. Maybe you'll throw out some discounts to my people on Patreon. That would be awesome. I just want to put you on the spot there. So no,
tell you what, Robert, I'll find some discount codes and then you can.
I'll tell you what, dude. If you can send me a fucking one of those fanny packs that makes me not feel like I'm 41 and embarrassed, and I dig it. I will speak all the words to your company.
Perfect.
Hey, I had a great time hanging out with you. I appreciate you taking the time out on a Sunday night, dude. A little away from your family and everything. Thank you very much, man. I want everybody out there in YouTube land and podcast land, wherever the fuck you guys are listening, to just remember one thing: subscribe and support. That's what I'm trying to tell you to do. Because if you don't hit the subscribe button, what the fuck, dude? If I don't see that subscriber count like grow every day, it makes me contemplate suicide or quitting the channel. So you guys can decide how you want to like determine my fate. It's up to you. If you do listen to the podcast and you do like it, please leave a little bit of a review over there. There's actually a algorithm that comes along with the B1KER podcast that if you don't give a 5-star review on it, you actually brick your phone. So don't do that review unless you're going to do a 5-star podcast review. I'm sorry. It's just like, it is what it is. I'm not in charge of this stuff. I'm sorry. If you guys liked the sweatshirt that C-Lock was wearing earlier with the B1KER on it, you can stop by shop.biker.com, get one of those. If you want a badass camel pack, I'm sorry, hydration pack. That's
there you go.
If you want a hydration pack, you need to stop by Osprey and hook it up. They apparently have something going on there that's a little different. The biggest thing that he said to me tonight that really, really stood out was the fact that you can just open up the whole top of the bag and pour water and ice and everything in there. That is so much easier than this little tiny little hole I'm trying to drop stuff into. So seriously, guys, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you, Chris, from Osprey, stopping by and hanging out. Remember one thing and one thing only. If that's the only thing that you remember, it only takes a bike to be a biker. Get the fuck out there and be one, bitches.